It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Flying down from Nova Scotia today.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
I have a dream that all men are created equal.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Doom Nation, what's up? We are back with a very special episode today. Super excited. We got a couple of guests, and we're on location.
My favorite part about this whole thing is that as soon as we push record, and here comes a helicopter.
The police are shutting us down.
It's the FBI. They're coming for us talking about critical race theory.
It's the FBI, Frankie.
All right, so we have... Oh, there goes my koozie. We have Big Vin. Say hello, Vinny.
Hi, how's everybody out there?
And we got Jimbo from the Last Slice podcast. Say what
Hello,
up.
everybody. Thank you guys for having me.
And you want to tell everybody where we are?
We are at Metlife Stadium, L10, right? That's what it is,
Yeah.
L10. And we're here to tailgate, drink, talk a little football, maybe talk a little bit crossover of football and politics.
Yeah.
And, hopefully some...
I might be going to the Raiders game, so it's kind of relevant.
That's interesting. Hopefully some random people will just drop in and talk. We've been, random people have been trying to talk to us this whole time about podcasting stuff.
Yeah.
You guys have a great setup here. This is
Thank you.
phenomenal.
This is just...
I was taken aback because I was like, how are they going to do this? And this came out.
The only thing I
Fantastic.
wish we kind of brought for the microphones,
The wind,
the blocker, so you
yeah.
don't spit on it. I think if we put it to the side, it might get a little
Well,
less
do you
wet.
want to? You want to stop spitting on it because you're a little bit drunk, a little bit, or because it is a tailgate, right?
Oh no, I spit on this normally. So
Yeah.
the marketing girl is jumping up and down for some reason.
That's fine. All right, let's start here. Let's start here. Boy, it's been a rough season again already. The Giants just started the season, and what do we want now? 1-4.
1-4.
And
And
things.
we're going today. So what's today's date? The 16th, 17th,
Yeah, 17th.
October
right?
17th, and we're
17th.
playing the LA Chargers. The Rams.
Rams.
Yeah,
Rams.
LA Rams.
Yeah, and they're 5-1. We're 1-5. They're 5-1.
Good matchup.
So we're going to be 1-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most likely.
1-6.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be 6-1.
It's been a tough few years for us with season tickets. I have season tickets since 2015, or 2016, I'm sorry, and I got a winning season my first year of having season tickets. That was the last year. That was the boat party year with Odell and the wide receivers. And since then, it's been nothing but losing, so it's been pretty tough here. What do you guys think about this season coming up? What do you think?
What was the last winning game you went to? You know?
I
Because
think,
I don't remember mine.
you know what? I think it was when we went to the Baltimore game and Beckham caught the over the middle and ran it all the way.
Okay.
Flacco was the quarterback then. I think that was the last Giant win that I was at.
That was when you were calling Ray Lewis a rapist at that game too.
Yeah, I was.
To the
I was
Giants.
to the guy in front of me, and he was a good sport because he's a really big guy. He could have crushed me. And you know what he said very humbly? He said, "But he wasn't found guilty." Something like that. He said he wasn't charged.
He's right.
You know what? But he was the only one that was guilty out of everybody. The DA in New Orleans ruined that case, and all of his posse walked away. But he pleaded, so he was the only one that was guilty.
Yeah.
Great player, trying to make up for all his years now. He does a million charities and all. He knows what he did was wrong, and he's trying to make it up. And you know what? I hope he can.
Yeah, I agree.
I remember Ray Lewis is one of the few players, because I didn't start, paying serious attention to football until late high school, early college. I mean, I've been coming to the stadium for 15 years now, but I'm 32, so I was 17 the first couple of times I came around here. But from my childhood, Ray Lewis is one of the few players that, like, I really remember being a dominant player.
He was an exceptional player. He was very. I mean, the guy moved, man. People, even running backs, would say I wouldn't hit the gap as hard because I knew Ray
Just
Lewis
a
was
fast
coming harder,
powerhouse.
and he scared. His presence scared running backs.
Yes, he was intimidating.
Very intimidating. Like he was same with Brian Urlacher. These guys,
Yes,
man, their presence.
yes.
You saw them, you're like, oh man, I got to run the football.
Would you say Marshawn Lynch brought that intensity too? He's
Absolutely.
one of my all-time favorite hold my dick players.
The thing is, when you're on offense, yeah, you could be intimidating, but you don't have that factor of, like, the offensive players are not out there hitting the other team. I mean,
Defense,
like they
yeah.
are, but the defense, like, your job is to literally kill the other team.
Yeah, when I was a kid playing soccer, I was always on defense because they're like, oh, okay, this kid's just out here to do one thing and one
Crush.
thing only. Yeah.
Yeah. So Vin, when was your first game watching the Giants in game?
Like, in person.
Yeah, do you remember your
Rob?
first game?
Oh, in person
Yeah.
or on television?
Oh, either or. If you could
Oh,
remember
yeah,
the
if
one
you
on
remember
television,
both.
please.
Let me go way back just to show my age. I remember when the Packers lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, 1960.
Wow.
Championship game. I was watching it with my uncles and my dad. My dad liked football, did not like baseball, but he liked football. And the clock ran out on the Packers. They were marching down the field, and the last pass that was caught, I don't remember who caught it. I was only 7 years old. But the guy just stayed on him. And the clock ran out, and Lombardi said, I will never lose another championship game. And he never did. And then he killed the Giants the next 2 years. 1 year they didn't get
Not
in,
much has
killed
changed.
Cleveland. 2 more championships going into the Super Bowl and destroyed him. He was probably the greatest coach that ever lived.
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with
Were you always a Giants fan growing up? Is that like
yeah,
what your uncles
always,
put you on and shit?
You know what? I couldn't understand not going for a home team. And when my son was in school, so now he's 7 years old, and it's probably like 1994, 1995, I see all these kids with different hats on. And I'm like, what's with these hats? And I was asking one kid, are you I don't, it might have been a Seattle hat. I don't remember. And he says, no, I just like the hat. So
You like the picture on the side of the helmet, yeah.
Yeah,
You didn't
It
understand
didn't-
that concept.
No, it didn't, because the decal on the hat didn't mean anything. It was the NY for the Yankees,
Right.
Yeah.
or the Giants, even the Mets. I didn't hate the Mets because I got to see a lot of great National League players in the old parks. So I sort of I don't dislike them. I don't root for them. I don't dislike
Yeah.
them. But when I watch them,
It's a New York
Somewhat.
team. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, you'd rather have New York win over anybody else.
And isn't it so funny? You know how, like, we versed Boston for the game to get into the postseason,
The wild card game.
the
that
wild
just came
card
out.
game, and the next day, a lot of Met fans hate the Yankees for whatever
Yeah.
reason. They were like, "Oh, we're happy that you guys lost this and that," and it's like, as a Yankee fan, we always root for our New York team. So if the Mets are in, we're gonna go for it. We're Giants fans. If the Jets are going into the
yeah,
postseason,
if the Jets made it
we're
to the
there.
Super Bowl, hell yeah. Who am I rooting for?
I'll
You
be
out
hon-
of your mind?
But there's such a
I know,
like
I know. There's a disdain for each other.
Exactly,
That's
and-
the New York mentality.
But it's crazy because didn't you say this once when we went to Cleveland? We went to Cleveland to a game. We took the trailer to Cleveland, and everybody there was just like literally just nice. Everybody was embraced it.
That was
Yeah.
You know, they were accepting to everybody, and
That-
here it's not like that, right?
Right, it's not. When we went to the Cleveland game, that was one of my favorite times ever at a
Yes.
football game because not only were the Cleveland Browns fans nice, but the Cleveland Browns bums were even nicer. We stayed the whole weekend in Cleveland, and when we got there, we ran into a random bum who just lived in the town
But we
in
ran
Cleveland
into him every so many hours.
of each day.
But can I correct you? He was our bum liaison.
Yes,
He was our liaison.
We had an Ohio liaison.
So-
if you believe it or not.
A homeless liaison that was homeless,
Yeah.
but guided us.
And
It's a tour guide.
Ran
We
into
paid him.
ran into him the first night. Had a little conversation with him. He told us where to park the trailer in the city of Cleveland downtown. Next day, we're in a bar, and he's in the bar, and we have a drink with him, talking to him, whatever. The next day is now Sunday. We get out there, we tailgate, we go into the game at the Cleveland Browns
More
Stadium.
food. Remember?
No, this is.
Oh,
Let me finish.
I know where he's going with this,
Let me
'cause I was
finish with the
with him,
liaison bum. The liaison bum. We go into the stadium. I'm in there watching. I gotta take a piss. I go to the bathroom in the stadium, and I go to the urinal, and I'm taking a piss, and I look to my left, and it's the fucking bum that we originally met as soon as we got there.
Yeah.
He was in the stadium. I'm like, bro, how are you even in here? He's like, dude, tickets were $9. He's like, I had enough money to buy one.
Yep.
This was in 2016.
Yeah, so we had front row. There's a picture of me and Rob leaning on the bar for front row, and Odell Beckham is on the field behind us. There's the other picture of me fighting with the mascot from the dog. The dog mascot from Cleveland. So $35 got you right up to the front row. I mean, you remember we were right there.
yeah. And the fact that the tickets were so cheap to even get by the wall, and you see the players literally right in front of you, it was a great experience. And the fact that we don't get that here, and it's such a shame because. I mean, even parking here in this lot.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go on a little rant real quick.
Go for it.
But so I refuse to give this organization a single dollar from me. I do, because nothing's changed. Nothing will change. I don't know what they're seeing, but the outside sees it, and everybody says the same thing. You can see what the problem is, and they don't want to fix it. Therefore, I'm not going to spend a single dollar. I'll spend money on an Uber. I took an Uber here. My hoodie and my hat was purchased as a gift for me. I didn't pay for it. So therefore, I'm fucking supporting this organization until they start fucking being the New York Giants football organization.
Real quick, what do you think the problem is, though? Like that, you're saying you're saying you could see what the problem is. The outside could see what the problem is.
Here's the thing: we're as New York fans, we are quick to blame the managers of the team, the head coaches of the team. The head coaches are not the problem because they inherit the problem, right? So when Tom Coughlin, before he was fired, we saw an issue. It wasn't Eli, right? The biggest disrespect was taking Eli out and putting Geno Smith in. That was the first red flag. Why? That's not the issue. The issue is the offensive line cannot stop defenses whatsoever.
The offensive.
I have been. For 11 years now, I have said we have been playing with a Swiss cheese O-line. We haven't had an O-line since 2011, and what did we do that year? We won a Super Bowl. It's a decade now.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed on the offensive line.
But even that offensive line wasn't great. The famous play of Eli escaping that insane thing was because the offensive line broke down. So... You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to find good offensive. We could sit here and complain and bitch as much as we want. The offensive line sucks. It becomes like the crutch that we always complain on.
I have more to complain.
There's not that many good offensive linemen out there. And I feel like every team doesn't have a great offensive line. They just have enough to make it happen and then lean on a good quarterback. What do you think,
line, but I think was good. And the thing that was interesting with that is that his players that would the talented players were all average. His offensive line as a unit was better than his talent players.
That's true.
And every player on that team, when they left Eli, never got another contract. That is amazing. Where I can't even think of them now. But
Burris or
I need a little help.
The skill
with
players
the two
or
ends,
the linemen?
Well, the ends.
Jeremy Shockey and
Shockey wasn't there. He was hurt. Boss signed the big contract.
Yes.
He signed
None
with
of
the Raiders.
these guys ever signed another contract after they left Eli.
Yeah, look at Cruz.
And they all got big money when they left, and they were really just average players. Eli made them, but I think his offensive line was really good.
Vinny.
Jacobs, he was a good runner. He never had a great guy.
But
and
Jacobs was a goal line running back.
Yeah, he was a good runner.
You threw him in. He's getting into the end zone. He's getting there.
Random Jacobs, man.
And you had Earth, Wind, and Fire. You had Ahmad Bradshaw. You had Brandon Jacobs, and who was the last guy?
Burris or Plaxico?
No, it wasn't Plaxico. No, it's a running backs. We had three running backs that were lined up for a specific way, depending on what you wanted.
Yeah.
And Brandon Jacobs was the 6'2" running back who piled through people.
Yeah.
All of those guys were really average. That Eli elevated.
Yeah.
His offensive line, I think, was better than the talented players around him.
I don't disagree.
Bradshaw, when he went to the Colts, none of those guys signed another contract.
I know.
Hicks, the guy with the big hands, came back,
Yeah.
couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's
I was happy
so,
when Knicks came back and he never did anything.
Yeah, it's so underrated, Eli. He really was.
I think so.
And for a great player, he wasn't appreciated. I think that has to do with, I got to duck when I say this, with people of a generation that are a little bit younger, and especially the fans that watch the Yankees really have great success and think that it's going to happen all the time.
You get spoiled.
So,
Yeah.
to win 2 Super Bowls is a lot. I keep saying
Yeah.
that. I went through a 17-year period where the Giants were just bad. After
We're
the
living
60s.
that right now.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
we're
hang on,
going
hang
through
on.
that now.
You look at this trailer real quick. There's only 4 Super Bowl logos on here. The Giants have won multiple championships over the years before the Super Bowl was even a thing.
Yeah.
However, they've only won 4 Super Bowls. We have been blessed
To see two of them.
two within our
Yeah.
lifetime
Yeah, you guys are
already.
young.
I agree.
So
I
we're
agree.
pretty lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're trying to make the point with the Yankees, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
how
it was
many,
ridiculous what
how- and
happened.
it's been a while now for the Yankees to
Yeah,
even
oh,
win
yeah.
another
Yeah.
World Series.
2009.
9.
Yeah.
So
I
Yo.
got to ask you, what's your favorite Giants team that you remember where
Well-
you were just like so excited that
You know, as much as it probably should have been when I was younger, I just really love Eli.
Yes.
wow, all right.
He's probably one of my favorite players ever. And I go back to where the Giants had great
Thank you, Jimbo.
great teams in the championship years, but they didn't win. But they were really, Y.H. Hill was great, but they couldn't get him over. The Packers were a great team. They were better than the Giants.
Yeah.
The one that hurt was when they lost to the Bears, because the Bears were all defense, no offense. And if you look at the Bears' history, they've never had a good quarterback. Who's the best quarterback they ever had? Which is amazing. They've been in the league since just about day one.
100 years, yeah.
Who's their best quarterback?
I feel like the Bears are it's in their
defense.
DNA to be a defensive
Defense.
smash mouth
they
team.
are
Yeah.
because they can't make up for the, like you said, the offense.
There's
So they
certain
have to make up
teams-
with the defense.
There's
and-
certain teams that carry a stigma through them throughout time.
Yeah, and the Giants lost, I think, 10-7 or something, and it was a bad loss because they were high-powered offense. But
Can I
I
ask
don't-
one more question?
then the Tarkenton years were pretty good.
Yeah.
I was young and didn't really realize how bad they were. They were about an average team, and Tarkenton brought them up a little bit. They almost made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Then it was bad for quite a while.
So let me ask you, do you think Eli is a Hall of Famer?
Oh, I do. If he doesn't make it on the first ballot, definitely the second. What killed him was the bottom half, and the teams just were not good. Eli isn't as good as his brother, where he could carry a team, or like
You gotta think though. His brother, for his
Oh, it's
own
just
right
amazing.
in the NFL, was a superstar.
superstar.
Peyton.
One of my little cousins, Peyton Manning, was like, my cousin is to this day a Colts fan. Why? Because from the second he got involved in football, Peyton Manning was one of the biggest names. And I will put Eli, they have the same amount of rings. And on top of it, you said, oh man, it's a big deal to get 2 Super Bowls in one lifetime like we've gotten. We didn't just get 2 random Super Bowls. We beat Tom Brady. As a Giants fan as I am, as much as I bet against every Super Bowl the Patriots or Tom Brady's in, I bet that whatever Brady's team's on, I bet that they win. I make money every year by doing this.
Can we
We
all
beat Brady.
Can we all
Yeah, he blew
agree?
him up. He blew up Randy.
Can we
He
all
broke
agree
him
that Tom
mentally.
Brady
He
is
blew him
a
up.
great quarterback?
Greatest.
Yeah.
I mean,
Greatest.
He's the GOAT.
The fact that
Greatest.
you leave one organization to go to another and win that year in the Super Bowl, granted with the old situation with the pandemic, whatever the case may be,
Nope.
Tom Brady, everybody said, oh, it's a Belichick system.
Yeah.
He broke off from that system,
Listen,
and he was able to win another Super Bowl.
this-
I think
guy
he
is just-
proved it. I think he proved it was him.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think he proved it was him. What do we think? Let's go around the
I-
table.
Yeah, yeah,
You think You think Tom Brady proved that it was
Yes.
really him, not the Patriots, not Bill Belichick?
Absolutely.
I
That's
think
me.
it's a marriage. It's
Really?
got to be both. The biggest thing that Brady did to me was playing probably for Belichick must be so hard because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
so demanding.
Yeah.
But Brady is telling the players, he sucks, but it works. It works. Just buy into it.
Right.
And they bought into it because of Brady. So the marriage there is so complete. And now that it's broke up, it's a little bit maybe tougher for Belichick. But I think Belichick, if he stays around long enough, I mean, he's not a young man, but if he stays around long enough,
He'll win another.
yeah, I believe he'll get right there. He'll build another really good team. But Brady is he's just so amazing. I can't believe what he does because I used to argue for Montana. Montana was perfect, 4-0. Brady lost this. But gosh, I mean, and he's not the most talented.
He's just
His
good.
desire to win
He
and
was
to
drafted
work.
I don't-
late. He was
yes.
drafted late too. He wasn't drafted
Yeah.
To be
first
honest-
round. He
Oh, no, he
wasn't
was late.
that great of a
Real
quarterback
late.
that the scouts saw, and he came and he.
I think Belichick made him great. Like
Yeah.
he,
Yeah,
he
if
groomed
if
him.
he didn't have Belichick, he wouldn't be the Tom Brady we know now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's the marriage
Right.
that I'm
Yeah.
talking
That's-
about.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
It worked, and it also an organization will give up like a call to like, all right, if Brady says we need to do this, let's try and do it. He's very knowledgeable as well, and so when Brady won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, like I always hated, because there was with the Patriots, it brought all the fans like. It's easy to be a fan
Right.
on a team that's got this huge history of winning.
Right.
Here comes the SWAT team. Look at this.
What's going on
Wow,
here?
we're
Yeah.
close down.
Jamie's
Sorry,
trying to
I
do some
apologize.
shots. It's all right. Go ahead.
So
sorry,
anyway,
keep going.
so it's easy to like the team that wins the most. So I always hated Brady for that, and I love that Eli had the 2 victories over it. But the second he won in Tampa Bay, full-blown respect. You're one of the greatest of all time.
I agree.
I can't even argue
There
anymore.
was for years, real quick, Jamie. You go
Yeah,
next. There was that question for years of who makes who.
Yeah.
For years, there was that question. So it was interesting that we actually got to see a divorce, and then what
victory.
happens, and Brady followed up. I mean, the first year, literally, right? That was Brady's first year on the Bucs, and he won the Super Bowl. That's like a stamp.
Dude,
of
I
his
consider-
legacy.
you saw
right
the
there.
final product,
Right,
You saw
yes.
you saw
Yes.
him chisel
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom
It's-
Brady,
it's
and then
a-
see the final product. when he
Giants
breaks
fans
off.
over here were freaking talking up Tom Brady
know.
for half an
I
hour.
know.
Yeah, too bad.
But as a
We gotta
Giants
go-
fan,
We got to go back to Eli.
Yeah.
as a Giants fan,
Yes,
it's great
right.
to know
We won.
that we
won.
beat him
Yeah.
in an undefeated season.
Yes.
We take pride in that.
Yeah. Dude,
I don't care
will
what
never
anybody
let that
says.
go. Dude,
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
anybody could
And-
talk
and-
about Eli, we ruined a perfect season. And the Giants, when Brady plays against the Giants, there is a mental block. Because the first time Jones played against Brady, they took him to the 4th quarter. If you guys remember that game,
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Saturday
when
night game.
Brady sees blue and white, man, shits his pants a little bit.
So back to Eli. Eli doesn't get enough credit.
No.
He's so underrated. Not only did he have the passing when he was versing the Patriots in the Super Bowl, where his shirt's getting grabbed and he throws off that throw to Tyree. That's one. Then he has a second catch, the Odell Beckham catch, the one-hand catch, the catch. And nobody gives him credit that he was the staple of 2 phenomenal plays.
Yeah.
And everybody
That's-
attacks him and says, "Oh, well, his stats."
If we
I don't
were-
care about your stats. I don't care. Listen, bring out the stats. The man still won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. Let me put it this
Yeah.
way, right? People always say, Eli doesn't have the stats, he's not Peyton, etc. But do I really care about that? I'm a season ticket holder. I'm a big Giants fan. I care about how many times do I come to this stadium and have a good time.
Yeah.
How many times do I watch a football game and have a good time? And I
That's
only
few.
I only have few. That's few, right? But I only have a good time when my team wins. So when my team wins a Super Bowl, that's me having the ultimate good time.
Yes.
Do I really remember or care all the times that
Hey, you
Eli
want to tell
Manning?
us your favorite Giants moment?
I'm going to go
Anyway, do I really care or remember all the times Eli Manning threw for 4 or 5 touchdowns? No, I don't. I remember when they won an important game and we came out here and we partied and we have a good time.
Yes.
That's what really matters.
Yes.
Not the fact that
I agree.
Peyton threw for how many records he did. I don't care. I'm not an individualist when it comes to football. I'm an individualist when it comes to politics.
You're dedicated to the
Right,
team.
it's weird, right? When it comes to football, I'm dedicated to the team, to the time, to the fun, like the whole community aspect of it.
The whole
I don't really
process.
care
And-
about one player is just a cog in the machine of me having a good time.
We've been fans longer than some of these guys have been players in the NFL.
And don't get it twisted. They hold no loyalty, none of them, to the team. The players don't. So
Well, because it is a business.
it's a business, right?
And it's about lifting the Lombardi at the end of the year.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Eli did that twice.
yeah.
Yes.
And the hardest guy, he's like an enigma. He's so hard to rate because he might have not been the best quarterback in his division, but he won. He went into Green Bay twice.
Yeah, tough
He,
wins.
he beat Farr in the game that was freezing,
SWAT team.
and he was
Yeah.
great that game.
Friends
He
now.
threw a ball. I couldn't believe how good he threw the ball that day, and then he beat Rodgers. So these guys are better than him, but he beat him. This is where
It's good enough to get it done.
he's like Jeter, and I make this comparison, and people say you're
Storybook.
crazy.
Vin.
It's storybook.
Vin, if I
Jeter,
listen,
Jeter has never been the best guy in his own team, but yet what he does, he wins, and that's
Gets the job
he's
done.
very close to Eli with that. He's never been near an MVP, never even been the best player on his team. How do you explain to somebody that you would rather have Jeter than A-Rod
Right.
that never seen them play? He's another enigma. It's when you make it about stats, it's not about Eli and it's not about Jeter. But when you watch them play and win, that's what they are.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. It's amazing. 'cause
It-
they're so rare athletes.
That as
And
much.
it's hard to make a comparison
Yeah.
between guys in two. I remember saying that once at work, and the guy said, "I got to hear this," because he was a Dallas fan.
Yeah, but
and
I
I
hate
think
these
I
Dallas
made that.
fans, man.
can I ask you a question? How are you a Dallas fan in New York?
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Front
Tell you
runners.
exactly what it is.
Aikman?
No, it was these guys when they were young. The Cowboys were good.
Yes, that's
Crazy.
exactly what it
Father
was. They
got
were
him.
front runners.
I used to tell him, "Would your father get you pajamas with the star?" and
Yo, I'm
they
gonna
would
use
laugh
it.
and say,
Yes,
"Yeah."
that's exactly
Vin,
what
I
it
swear
is.
to
Yes,
God,
that's exactly
I swear
what
to
it is.
God,
I'm
Vin,
going to
I
tell you a
go-
good story.
I go. So
I'm
when
gonna show
somebody
my
tells
age
me,
again.
when somebody tells me they're a Dallas fan, I go, "Which one of your uncles watched them win the Super Bowl?"
Yeah, that's another good point too.
When I was a kid, I liked the San Diego Chargers because they were very flashy. They had a guy, Keith Lincoln. They had a wrestler, Ernie Ladd. They had all these flashy guys. And they had like the lightning bolt. So somebody told me, "Oh, you liked the blue and whatever it is, blue and gold." I said, "No, this was a black and white television that I was watching them on." But I liked them. And then they would play the championship against Buffalo, and my father would say, "No, you got to go for Buffalo. Buffalo is right upstate here." But I like the Chargers, and I think that's just like the Cowboys. They were a flashy team. If you're old enough to remember Bob Hayes, he was the fastest guy in the world. They had like a lot of cool guys on the team, and in 10 years they got really good. And
They're really good again.
the Tex, whatever Tex Schraden teams, those were great teams, and they were very much in line with the Giants. The Giant organization actually helped them when it went to the new owners.
To the Joneses?
They're not. It's not the same. It's not the same relationship with the Giants, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I would definitely assume that. One thing I'll tell you, man. One thing I've noticed over the years is the New York Cowboys fans are awful.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
The worst
awful.
people.
You guys
people.
went to Dallas. If you don't mind
I
me
went,
asking, you
yeah,
guys went to
so-
Dallas.
I
and-
did
That's
it.
what
I
I
wish I
said
did.
they were the greatest fans in the
They
world.
I went to Dallas in 2016, I think it was 16, and they were amazing. And it's not a Cowboys thing. It's not a Giants thing. It's a Texas versus New York thing. When you go to Texas, the people are so nice and welcoming. And because I was a Giants fan there was one dude who was kind of a douche. He was there was only one douche out of everybody in AT&T Stadium. While I was walking in, a guy had a lowrider that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
It was completely cowboysed out, like wrapped with like Cowboys stuff on it.
That sounds
And he
dope.
was beeping at me and like cursing at me, and he got his ultimate karma because he literally crashed into the car in front of him.
You're lying.
Yes.
That's a real story?
I swear to
that this guy
God. Swear
had a
to God.
lowrider crash.
Swear to
Because he
God.
was looking at you like,
Yes, he wasn't paying attention. He was looking at me, yelling
It
at
was
me
just
because I was a
you
Giants
and
fan.
Sam, right?
Me and Sam.
Absolutely
just like
fantastic.
This, just like the stadium here, you got this road right here,
Yeah.
and the guy was, like in traffic, coming down the road, beeping at me, trying to yell at me. Wasn't paying attention, doesn't hit the brakes, hits the car in front of him.
Nice.
He was the only bad guy, right, out there in Texas. Every other Cowboys fan I spoke to was nice, was super cool. I paid for like a tailgate experience out there. Ric Flair came out to there.
what? No way. You
Swear to
serious?
God, swear to God. Ric Flair came out there.
You got a little bit excited, like, you know
Yes.
what? I might change colors.
No,
Ric Flair's here.
never.
No,
There
Ric
was-
Flair doesn't do that
What are
to
you,
you.
crazy?
What?
No.
You're fucking Don the
Rolex
Navy.
wearing?
What do you want?
Diamond
crack?
ring wearing?
All right, Hunter Biden, take it easy. So Ric Flair came out. It was a good tailgate party. Everybody was really nice. It was a nice mixture of Giants and Cowboys fans. Everybody very respectable. In the stadium, people like wanted to talk to me because I was a Giants fan. And then when they hear you're from New York and you came all the way for the game, then they respect you even more, and then they're even more interested. That's something I've noticed across every travel
Yes.
game
Yeah.
we've
If
ever
you,
gone
if you
to.
take the time to travel,
Other fans
well, no,
respect when
Washington
you travel.
didn't.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
They didn't. I never.
Yes,
I
they
didn't meet
did.
anyone in Washington.
Jimmy in the background there, he had a nice conversation with a nice Redskins fan.
Yeah.
They're
I didn't.
every fan base has
let
good
me,
people.
so we can get into this next topic, and I think you guys want to talk about this. But I was originally a Tampa Bay fan.
Really?
I was
originally a Green Bay fan.
Wait. I was a Keyshawn Johnson,
Oh,
Warren
God.
Sapp.
Yeah, that was a dope team.
When they won the
losers,
Super when they went to the Super Bowl with John Gruden, right? So I was that fan. My cousin was a diehard, still to this day a diehard Giants fan, and he came to me one day and I had my Keyshawn jersey on, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just a Tampa Bay fan." He goes, "No.
You live in New York.
Take the fucking jersey off, and I'm giving you
Wow,
a jersey." He gave me a Giants Jeremy Shockey jersey.
That was my first
And I
Giants
was
jersey.
a kid. I was really young. And he goes, "You are now a Giants fan. Don't you ever go against that." And till this day,
Oh, wait a
I-
minute. So if he gave
Wow,
you
you
like a Jets
demanded.
jersey, would you still be a Jets fan right now?
probably most
That's
like if
horrendous.
they that year they won the fucking Super Bowl.
Oh.
When I got the jersey, when I got to the
Tampa?
yeah, no, I was a Tampa fan, and then they won the Super Bowl before the 2011. What was it 2007? I believe it was.
2007, 2008. Yeah.
Hey,
They won the Super Bowl when he gave me the jersey, and I'm like, well, it's meant to be. That's it. 2011, they won again. So I
see,
was
look,
Giants.
been a
you
fucking
grew
Giants
up
fan.
liking the Chargers because they had a lot of cool
Yeah,
teams.
for a little bit.
You like Tampa. I grew up with Brett Favre.
Gunslinger
I-
era.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I, as a child, as a kid, and before I really followed and studied what football was, Brett Favre was the biggest name. Just like my cousin with Peyton Manning. Like, I was a Green Bay fan for a long time until I was like, wait a second, I live in New York. What am I doing?
Yeah, my
Like, I
cousin
felt like I
literally
was
said.
committed.
My,
I know, but wait, hold on. Skaggs here. You've been Giants day one.
I've been Giants
Yeah.
day one. My
Yeah.
mom brought me. We were
Rangers
just talking
as
about
well,
this
right?
on the
We were
way
talking
in.
about on the way down.
Rangers,
Yeah, Rangers,
I mean,
Yankees,
Yankee
Giants.
fans.
The blue and red
Patty,
team.
Patty
Yeah.
knew what was good, man.
Yeah.
I came my first tailgate. I was like 2 or 3 years old.
Really?
I literally have a picture of. I have
Oh,
vague memories
shit.
of it, but I have a picture of me and my mom. Back in the day, the original Giants Stadium had like the curly
Yes.
like like entrance
Entrances,
ramps.
yeah.
I have a picture of me on my mom's shoulders, like being like coming in on those
Phenomenal.
entrance ramps, and I vaguely remember it, but I didn't understand
Oh,
what
wait,
was
wait,
going
hold on.
on. So.
One of my favorite stories. What about your first World Series game?
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah.
is crazy. Like, for Doom Nation, Skaggs has been going to, like, not just Yankee games, but World
Series Yankee
games
games.
since he was a child.
I've been blessed and lucky. My mom had the
Yeah.
hookup. My first World Series game was the game where they won the World Series. So that's a pretty good first World Series game to go to. I believe it was '98. Vinny.
96?
No, '98. When did they play the Padres and win the World Series?
Oh, yeah.
Was that they?
Yeah, I think it was 98.
Right.
96
They won that
was
one at home
Atlanta.
too, right? I think that was it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
remember
I remember. Just blow your mic up there when you talk. I remember. No, I'm just saying. I can't hear you. I remember being, I remember it was like Shane Spencer or someone in left field catches the last out.
Yeah.
Catches the last out,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm in
yeah,
left
yeah,
field,
yeah.
like not far from where the last out was caught, and people are going crazy. And I was like right below the mezzanine deck in left field. So people are going so crazy, they're throwing popcorn over the edge, and popcorn's raining down on me, and everyone's like hugging and cheering and going crazy. It was an amazing memory.
Who'd you
I'll
go to
never-
that game with?
So we're all
just my mom. That's it. Just me and my
What a
mom.
beautiful
yeah. So we're
memory.
all Yankee fans here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Vin,
Oh God, what are you?
What's
Real quick.
yeah.
I'm lifting the ban now on the Yankees. The season is over. I'm now a Yankee fan again.
They
After
did,
Oh, yeah,
I
'cause
gotta
you had
say,
the-
they did
the-
us wrong.
Yes,
They did us wrong from day one
I
of this
remember
season,
that.
bro.
I remember texting you about something about the Yankees, and you're like, "Fuck them."
Yeah, I'm
Fuck
happy
them.
they lost this year.
Yeah.
Now the ban is lifted. I'm
Are you
fine
good?
with
All
it.
right. Now you're a Yankee fan again.
Yes.
All right. Vin, favorite Yankees team, favorite year.
Probably 61 Yankees.
Ooh, let's go.
Wow.
Emmanuel
All right.
Mays, when they 60, what was he now? 60 when they lost to the Pirates as a little kid, really little, but I do remember it. And then the next year, 61, they beat up on Cincinnati. So that was maybe I think that was about the favorite, because from 61 to 64 it was about the same guys. And Mano, always my favorite player. It's funny when I argue with guys at work that are about a little older than you guys, about 40, and they say, "Man, you guys go to the mat for who he is like," and Mano was my guy. And it's like, yeah, but it meant more to us, because not that we were poor or anything. There wasn't all these other things. Baseball was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Mano was the biggest name, and yeah, we go to the mat for Mano.
I have a question right now. Not being alive during that time, what made Mantle such a
Household
force,
name?
a household name, such a favorite player for a guy who's
What was
obviously
his influence?
Knowing what I know now as being like a later on generation of a Yankee fan. Obviously, I know Mantle's on like the Mount Rushmore of Yankees, but what made him so, like fan favorite of the time? When you look at his numbers, they weren't up
That's
there
right.
compared to the other players. I mean, not that they weren't up there, but I'm just saying compared to like, Ruth and Gehrig,
Well, a little bit of a
etc.
different era. It was almost a little easier then. Mantle had that country appeal. He was very handsome. He had that country appeal. He had that country smile. Could hit the ball a mile. Strong as a house. His will to win was so tremendous. One of the best things I ever seen. I was very fortunate. My neighbor down the block, the Zambardinos, had an extra ticket, went to a game, and of all things to remember, and I went to the game when Chambliss hit the home run against
Yes.
the Royals to win it.
Yes.
Nice.
But one of the things that I remember most was Mantle hitting a triple. And we were sitting at third base and watching him turn second and run. I mean, he ran like his hair was on fire. His veins were popping out. And everything he had was going into it. And I was a little kid, and it just magnified to me. And he was such a great player, and he wanted to win. He had demons in his life, which is sad. Not always such a great guy, which the 40-year-olds kill me on. And he had problems. He was an alcoholic. But the Mantle that I grew
He's
up
still
with.
fucking solid
that doesn't
problem, yeah.
bother me whatsoever.
Yeah.
So are we.
Well-
So. I mean, like that don't bother me. But
That's
We
pretty
woke up
funny.
at 6 a.m. and
Back-
got this
back-
done.
He was the
so-
Jordan. He was the Jordan.
back
he
in that
was
back
Jordan
in that time,
before he was Jordan.
Back in the time, did people look down on him because he was
Oh,
an
no,
alcoholic?
because nobody knew it.
Okay.
And anything
There was
that
no
Mantle
social media
said
to
was
glorify
funny.
it.
He was so big that he could say things that would get him in trouble today
Oh yeah.
that people just laughed at. Not that he was. It was just a natural thing. Maybe
Right.
for him to say something that you probably shouldn't say today.
But I mean, that's every single
So,
person in the world.
So you saw Mano play.
Yeah, unfortunately,
How-
I never seen him have. I never went to a game where he had a great game. I was a
But
big
you've
Ellie
seen him
Howard.
play.
Oh, I've seen him play for years.
The fact that we're sitting here with someone who's seen Mickey Mantle play
That's
as
awesome.
a baseball fan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fuck the Yankees. That's phenomenal, man. Honestly,
Well,
I'm a baseball fan, man, bro.
Not,
Like,
not in the sense fuck
And
the Yankees.
Berra.
It's just
Got to see Berra.
it's why.
Did you really? That's
it's
awesome.
why
Yeah,
people
he was
like
Oh, you
us.
saw Barrett
Barrett.
too?
Oh yeah, he was.
Oh, that's
towards
my
the
favorite
end.
player ever.
You know, somebody asked me last night. We were bullshitting. We were out and talking baseball, and somebody asked me right away, best 3 catches. So
Ooh,
I'm
that's
going
a
to
good
say
question.
guys. I mean, they're guys my age.
Yeah.
So I said Barrett, Campaneris, and Johnny Bench. And I'll give a funny story with Campaneris. Maybe you guys know it. Phil Rizzuto would give his favorite Italian team, so the catcher would be Yogi Berra. So Bill White would say, "Hey Phil, how about Campaneris? He was Italian." And he said, "No, I know he was Italian." He says, "We used to talk Italian at batting practice, but Yogi was better." Really a great story by
This
Phil
is
Rizzuto
phenomenal.
off the top of his head.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
And
amazing.
if you don't know, I don't know if you know, Campaneris was black. He was half
Yeah,
black
yeah.
and half, I think his dad,
Doesn't matter, though.
well, his dad was World War II veteran who married a black woman.
Yeah, Jim, why don't you, Jim, sit in and put the headphones on. You
and-
can listen to your dad giving good stories here.
And the Yankees, to their credit, when Campaneris, who was in a car crash, and I don't know if he was at the end of his career because I don't remember him. He retired before me. But the Yankees employed him. He used to do something in between the double headers. They would wheel him out in a wheelchair, and he would show you how to catch ground balls. And I remember sort of like being in front of a television, and that was the way you're supposed to
Really?
catch it. So the
Wow.
Yankees employed him, even though he wasn't a Yankee, but he was a New Yorker, and a great man. And he had 3 MVPs, which is amazing. I
Wow.
didn't realize that. And he probably lost a few years to the Negro League. So a great player and a great man.
And that's the thing about Negro League players is that their stats were never collected
Yeah.
when they transitioned into the MLB.
Yeah, Satchel
because
Paige.
Satchel Paige was one
Right.
of the greatest, and we don't know his stats as much as when he moved into the MLB.
Right.
And I love this because you know me, I'm a huge
yeah.
baseball fan.
Yeah.
And Yogi Berra.
This is
That's,
all news.
That's crazy because Yogi Berra is one of my favorites as a catcher. Second is, and it's going to be a Yankee person, is Jorge Posada. And thirdly is going to be Ivan Rodriguez from the Texas Rangers.
Unfortunately,
He was good. Budge was good.
the guys that I worked with, especially the Spaniards, if I could say it.
He's a Spaniard,
I
so
know
it's
that.
fine.
That's my nickname.
So,
We got a specific
Well,
show
we
going
used
on
to-
here. I don't know if we can start
That's
dropping
it.
this.
That's
No,
it.
it's
That's
all
the
right.
end.
Hey,
That's the end
hey,
of the.
cancel culture. My nickname is the Spaniard, so we're okay.
so
He picked that. He picked it.
Yeah,
He
I
didn't give
picked it.
to
I
him.
picked it
He
myself.
picked
Yeah.
it.
Go ahead, Vinny.
if they didn't see the player, it didn't exist. And I always argue with them. When Berra died, I went to a liquor store on Arthur Avenue, and the Spanish guys that own it, great guys. And we're talking. He says, "You're a Yankee fan, right?" He says, "You're old enough to remember Berra." He was okay. I said, "Okay." He won 3 MVPs. He was on 10 World Series winning teams. And the guy looked at me and said, "Really?" Because what he said is he wouldn't compare today. And I said, 3 MVPs and 10 World Series. So you tell me.
10. The
Just as
most
many as
rings
DiMaggio.
on one
That
finger.
was-
Eventually, we got to get into DiMaggio.
That was the
Yeah.
point I wanted to make.
Everybody wants to go with
Yes.
Tom Brady with the
Right.
most rings
The
on a
point,
finger.
the point I wanted to make, right,
Yeah.
was there's been the conversation of like, who's better, LeBron or Jordan?
Oh,
Or
give me a
Tom
break.
Brady? Who's the GOAT of
take
all
this, I gotta
time?
pee.
And people be like, and people will be like, well, look, Michael Jordan has this many more, rings than LeBron does. Well, motherfucker, Yogi Berra has more rings than all of them.
Yeah.
Right? What does he have? 10 in
Yeah.
total? That's crazy. That will never happen again ever.
What's
Listen,
great
you know
about
what, you know what the thing though is though.
Sorry,
when you-
Yankees, baby. Let's go.
Exactly.
I'm a Yankees fan again.
throw it through.
I don't disagree because
I'm
when
a
you
piss
start
myself.
doing LeBron and fucking Jordan had a completely different mindset than LeBron has.
Well, Jordan was a killer.
He's a
dude.
competitive. He's a
Killer.
competitive
There's no, like,
gambler
you-
who just is fixated on winning.
If you hung out with Michael Jordan, you wouldn't like him. Let's put it that way. He's
Oh,
too
me?
competitive.
No, I wouldn't have.
You'd probably like LeBron if you hung out with him. He's a nice guy. Once a month.
Communist.
He's a communist, right? But he's about communist. Michael Jordan was an individualist capitalist,
Cap's
right?
like, yep, he's a communist.
He's a communist, but you'd like to hang out with communists. They're all about the crew. Michael Jordan was an individualist.
Yeah.
He's going to kill you,
Yeah.
and when he kills you, he's going to do it as bad as he could. He's going to embarrass you when he beats you. They were not comparable whatsoever.
No,
the
they're
fact
two
that
different people.
I'm sorry we got into this, but the fact that people even want to try and compare LeBron to Michael Jordan, no, there's no comparison. Can't hear
You're
you, Jim.
talking
Throw
to
it
Mike.
on, Jim.
This is our drink maker.
Yeah, Jim, pull the mic up.
Jim,
if you want to
pull
say
up
something.
and talk. It's all right. It's a free
He's a good
country,
thing
as,
everybody's got
far as we know
Jim's
it
not
right now.
big on public
Thinking
speaking.
about it.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it.
I'll take
Actually,
my time.
I wish Vin was here, but Jim is actually Vin's son, and Jim is about to be a father, and we might have 3 generations
Of
at
Jims.
Giant. Yeah, of Jims.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
The
And
baby,
we might have
the baby's
two.
gonna be
Well,
on time.
If you bring your mom, we'll have 3 generations of you guys too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, my daughter, I'm definitely gonna bring her to tailgate
I'm
and
giving
games
her
and whatnot. Yeah.
once. That's my first. Yeah, I'm getting her like a little pink Giants jersey.
There you
That's
go.
the first thing I'm getting her.
pretty
I
awesome.
just feel fucking great that we are sitting with someone who has seen Mickey Mantle.
Yes, that's
Yes.
awesome. I agree.
You gotta-
And as a baseball fan, that's why I said fuck the Yankees. It's not because fuck the Yankees, brush them off.
That was a 1-year thing.
I'm saying, as a baseball fan, a historian of baseball,
Yes.
that someone actually saw Mickey
different.
Mantle play.
It's different.
It's not hearsay. It's not a legend. It's not like this conspiracy of someone playing. But that he see him on the bases.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is,
No, you
as
know,
a baseball fan,
it
you have to.
reiterates, like, listen, as
the opener?
much as we complain about the Giants and the Yankees and the Rangers and the Knicks and the Nets and the Mets and just like you even got angry a few days ago and you're like, New York sports is dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
as much as it is, we're saying how great it is, Vin, to be sitting here with you because New York has had such a rich history
You hear us?
of a rich history of winning. But you actually see
gotta go
like
to-
a lot of
I gotta
like
go to
what we
restroom, I'll be
talk
back.
about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it comes with being old.
I
I'd
don't
rather
mean to
be
say
young.
it like that. I
But,
don't mean to put it that way, but
no,
like,
no, but it's-
like
it
you
is.
got to see Mantle play so much
Yeah,
that this is a reason why everybody's such a big Yankee fan. Die-hard Yankee fans are because of what you saw.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was. I don't really how to describe it. It was really. It was just so natural, and if I was in a different city, it just wouldn't be the same.
same.
It
Yeah, I
was the
agree.
Yankees, and it
Yeah.
was Mantle. It was almost at the right time, and it meant a lot to us.
You were in the right place at the right time in
and-
sports history.
And it means a lot to us. And I always say it wasn't that we were poor or anything. I mean, we were middle class and that, but it just meant more to us. And, I explained to a guy who played at Iona. He played like Iona baseball and basketball, good athlete. And how Mantle was better than Mays. And I broke it down to him. And he really bought into it. And he said, like, I'm the same generation of his father. His father was maybe about 9 years older than me. But I said it just meant more to us because there was just less, in a sense. And what was funny, he told me one thing that was funny, changing the topic a little bit, but bringing
for
in
it.
the Beatles, it was cool to, like, I played with guys that played baseball, then they had to go to guitar practice. And that's what the Beatles did.
Yeah.
So it was really growing up with that was a pretty cool thing, and I think the music, and I really, I don't know
You-
if
you
I would
definitely
really
had
trade it
a
in.
better time.
We had that. I don't know what else we had, or I have a friend from Arthur Avenue, which is really funny, where he says we were rich in every way except for money.
That's a
And,
good way to
so
put it.
were we.
All
It's
that,
a great quote.
you had the New York culture.
It was a great- that
There's
is a great
culture
quote.
of every state has its own culture, and you had the best of New York culture. Because
Yeah.
now New York is just get out of my way.
I'm just thinking about what you guys are saying, and it's almost a shame now that's
Yeah.
kind of been lost. Maybe I don't know.
New York has become so mainstream.
Well,
that,
it's
like,
not. We're not making more new stuff of that sort of culture. A lot of people have left. Like us. Specifically.
And why shouldn't you? I mean, Connecticut is a better deal for you guys.
Yeah.
It's less money to buy. It's less money in tax. You can commute in.
Right.
Some of you guys get to work at home. It's a better option.
Yeah. The people
For a
are
lot of
nicer
years.
too. The culture there is just
And-
nicer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've always liked Connecticut. I really always have.
Yeah, that's the goal.
You know, I was going to say before, you know, we're talking here with Vinny, who has these great. Now that Jamie's back, now Jamie, now you're back. We're talking here with Vinny, and you know, he has all these beautiful memories of like back in the day, the Yankees, sports, etc. We have those memories too, but they're of the more new teams. Yes, we do, bro.
We do.
He's got great memories.
Yes, we do. We
can I-
have the '90s. You know, we got the 09 team. We have the Jeter, you know, era. We have Eli. At some point in the future, we're going to be Vinny sitting at this table with a bunch of other guys who have like some other new players, some new era of great sports that they have now are not talking about, and they're going to be like, "Wow, man, Jamie, you sat there and you worked at the stadium and you got to see Jeter for so many years, and like, you know what I mean?" So every
Now,
I mean, as long as your team is good, every era is going to have.
Do
some
you
sort
think
of
that
crazy.
Derek Jeter would be considered a legend as Mickey Mantle?
Yeah.
No, he's
Right?
not.
Boy, here we go.
Wait. He's not Mantle, but he is a legend.
So you understand
He's
what I'm saying,
absolutely
right?
a legend.
So Mickey Mantle was a pivotal person during the New York Yankees. Hey, you want to come in? Hey, come on. What's up, man? Oh, we got to get some Bud Lights though going, you know? All right.
What's going on?
Yeah, there you go.
Pull it up.
What's your name, man?
I'm Ryan.
Ryan, nice to meet you.
Are you a Giants fan? Question number one.
I'm not a Giants fan, but
boy.
You gotta leave.
I'm a betting. I just bet on all the teams.
There you go. All right. What's your favorite team?
I'm from Connecticut, so I would say
There we
I'm
go.
a Pats guy. I'm a Pats guy.
Maybe a
All right,
neighbor
Pat's
goes.
guy. All right.
We were
Yeah, we were just talking about Tom
We were
Brady.
just talking about Brady.
No way.
For,
Yeah, dude, guy's built different.
Oh, he's great.
I
Absolutely.
was listening to some Billy, like somebody, they brought a doctor on to talk about Tom Brady's hand for the Thursday night game on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor was saying that Tom Brady, he's 44, but he's a body of a 34-year-old. Like it's like he's just built. He's just
He
Do
really
you
is.
think he's going to go till 50?
that would be crazy, huh?
I think he's on that route to
He's
go to
on
50.
that track. He's
Why
on that
not?
track. He's like a robot, man.
No, he really is. He's a great player.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Keep
It's
eating the
crazy how he
greens.
does it.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think his trainer really helps out too. He's this like whole stretching mantra thing that he does, and it gets him like he gets massaged after every game. He like does all this treatment and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yes, the
Like-
TB12, right?
Yeah,
Was it
the
called TB12?
TB12 movie. He's got like a whole book on it. I was reading up on it. I'm like, all right, maybe I should do a little more stretching. Like,
And he's the only player that can leave and then next year win a Super Bowl.
exactly.
He's
Like,
the only
that's-
player that's ever done that. And
Greatest
they
of all
said,
times, hands
it's the
down.
Bill Belichick system. And he broke off and he's like, fuck you.
What'd you think of the Bucks Pats game? It was quite a classic.
Yeah.
I thought it was a real good game.
Yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed it.
It was
You
an
know?
interesting decision.
I liked seeing him and Bill
Quarterback was
Belichick.
good. What'd you think about What'd you think about Matt Jones?
He's promising. I know he's throwing a lot of checkdowns, hitch routes,
exactly.
but like his balls are phenomenal.
Is he
Yeah.
in,
You have to have good balls to
Is
play
he-
football.
Yeah.
Is he in the
Yes.
box?
Big balls. What?
Is he like just in the box where he's not the knock on him is that he's taking baby steps.
Yeah.
He's not going as deep as his counterparts that are around the same age. And they think, Belichick is sort of keeping handcuffs on him.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's also part of like how Bill's doing it. But also, I think he's the best quarterback out of the draft right now.
You think
Right
he's
now.
yeah?
Trevor Lawrence is just like
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
give him a little time.
You've been replaced.
Well,
Yeah,
How
you've
about
been
him?
replaced.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm gonna get a listen.
thank you
I gotta run.
thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks, guys. This is fun.
Hey,
I appreciate
nice,
it.
man.
All right,
Where-
brother. Have a
where
good one.
in Connecticut are you?
Cheshire.
All right.
Cheshire, all right.
Cheshire, Connecticut.
You know where that is? He's in
It's like
Connecticut.
I'm a little familiar.
Oh, did it crack?
One. Oh boy, Kev! Drink that now.
Gotta go.
It's raining. There's a beer mist going on over here right now. Look at this.
I
doing
absolutely,
that?
genuinely enjoy it. This is
This is what we
phenomenal.
This is what we got
This
the
is fun.
gyroscope for.
Yeah,
Leslie
this-
Chow, let's go.
Leslie Chow.
There we go.
There you
All
go.
right.
These are the guests you got.
That was awesome. That was
Yeah, that's
that was
great.
good.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Nice, man.
All right.
I like how he
You guys come often?
he
Oh,
can't.
it's my first. I've been here in like a year and a half.
Oh shit! All right, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So
Hey,
come
hey,
back,
you
we're
gotta do
here.
another one. You gotta do another roadie.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, can someone Google real quick where Cheshire? That's fucking far. I'm
That
pretty
sounds
sure.
so. That sounds
Someone,
so
Jim, you got your phone?
Bostonian
How
that
far,
I don't
how
want
far
to.
away
I
is
don't want to.
Cheshire, Connecticut?
But
What the hell just
let's get
happened?
back. I have no idea.
Yeah, you went to the bathroom and we replaced it with someone way better.
That's what happens when you leave.
Nah.
Yeah, he was talking. He was saying, "Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
no,
it
with the
was
energy.
great."
Hang on, Jim. Where is Cheshire, Connecticut? I feel like Connecticut
Is
people.
that, man?
How
Oh,
far
yeah.
is it, Jim? Real quick, come on. It's technology.
I find
Look
it
up.
phenomenal that in Connecticut that there's so many different.
Oh yeah,
options.
Connecticut's very diverse.
Because if you
Yeah.
go into the middle, they're more of a Boston fan. They're
Bro,
more Red
when you
Sox,
go Hartford,
Patriots, and
Connecticut, it's Patriots.
yeah, and then
for
when you
sure.
go a little bit lower towards Stanford, they're more New York
Well,
Giants.
you gotta understand
Yeah.
something.
I find
when
that
you
very
live
interesting.
when you live in Hartford, Connecticut, and you've lived there
Hartford's
most
far,
of your
right?
life, yes,
Hartford's
it is.
very far away.
And
yeah.
you live there most of your life. The closer team is the Patriots. But when you go to some place like Stamford, a lot of New Yorkers move
I
to
heard.
Stamford.
Whoa! All right, for just
Where
for
is it?
context, Cheshire,
far.
Connecticut is 100 miles away.
Wow.
That's pretty deep. And he's not a Giants fan; he's a Patriots fan, whatever.
Right.
But I do feel like I have run into a lot of people from Connecticut here. They come from far away. Jim, the last game we came to, we met
You
some
come from
random
far
guy.
away.
I come from far away, but I'm not that far away.
No,
the
but
last
you're
game we
pretty
came
far.
to, the guy came from 3 hours away, and he's a
3
diehard Giants.
hours.
3 hours every
Oh.
game. And that's just one way. He's going
How
back
about
3
this?
hours
Do
again
you remember
after.
this? Do you remember when we were in Cleveland? We met these group of guys when you brought the trailer,
Sorry,
and
Jim.
we had a bunch of Giants fans take a picture in front of the trailer.
Yes,
We've
they
met.
were from Toronto.
We've met people from Canada who
Yeah.
were Giants fan, and they remember watching Phil Simms when they were younger on TV, and they were Giants fans, and they never got the chance to come down here, and they were just like so intrigued by us being there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's true. I
Wow.
remember, yeah.
That
I
was
was
like,
like, holy
the
crap.
French guys. I was pretty impressed with the
Oh,
French guys
for
being
my
Jet
birthday
fans.
when
I-
Jim got black out.
I was surprised. Saying, ain't you guys Buffalo fans? And they said, no. They like the Jets.
Wow.
I was a little surprised at that.
Now the Canadian guys live in basically a huge prison complex.
Yeah.
So that, they got that going for them.
Social engineering.
You know, Giants
Yeah.
fans will never be here again for the most part.
Yeah.
Social engineering.
The distant future.
That's it for the argument with social medicine with them guys. Where,
Yeah.
where,
Although,
where,
yeah.
You
We
know
actually
what's the
talked about
most,
that,
you know what's the
socialized
most
medicine.
telling thing with that?
Dip into the politics here now. yeah.
Let me think about this for a second. Montreal might have been playing the Islanders in the playoffs. Whoever they were playing
Oh, this
It
is
was-
hockey.
in hockey,
Okay.
there was nobody in Montreal. Oh, it was Toronto because Toronto beat Montreal this way.
The Maple Leafs.
They know that I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. So there was nobody in Toronto, and they were playing, I think, the Islanders, or it was definitely a team from the United States. And the fans are going nuts here, and then there's nobody in Toronto because they didn't have the shot. They couldn't get it, and there was nobody in the stands. So anybody that's ever had an argument about social medicine, I mean,
Yes.
we may pay too much, but we pay too much probably for everything. But
Yeah, I agree. It's,
medical is
Yep.
so much better.
So wait,
Well, Jamie,
being this way.
hang on.
Vin, do you think inside the stadium we're gonna get a "Let's Go Brandon" chant, or just straight up "Fuck Joe Biden" chant?
No, I missed that almost. That went zoom over me.
Right over. Yeah, that's
Oh,
more of an
okay.
us.
So-
Brandon,
So, a lot of college football teams around the nation, they're packed, fully sold out stadiums, 70, 80, 90,000 people in a stadium. Meanwhile, we don't know if we could have Christmas yet. Right? so there's a
It's
big
funny
thing.
because it's true.
Yeah, so there's a big thing going on in the sports world. When you're in a stadium, you start chanting, "Fuck Joe Biden."
It's broken out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
broken
Oh, no,
out
I
in
didn't
almost
even know
every
that.
stadium.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then now there was a NASCAR winner, and the entire NASCAR stadium during this interview was chanting "Fuck Joe Biden," and the reporter was like, "I can't believe they're chanting Let's Go Brandon."
Oh,
so
really?
now
The guy's name was Brandon
Yeah.
that they were interviewing. It's like I can't believe we're
Oh,
interviewing. Yeah,
man.
Let's Go Brandon. So
the
now
narrative-
Now it's code word.
so now people have been like doing the chant "Let's Go Brandon."
Yeah, as-
yeah.
Oh,
when you
really?
can't
No,
say
I didn't
"Fuck
know
Joe
that.
Biden," you say "Let's Go Brandon."
Oh, okay. No, you know
We're
what?
gonna see if
I
we
didn't
get a
know
"Let's
that.
Go Brandon" chant going today. We'll see about that. What was I gonna say before? Shit.
Where are
Forgot
we?
now.
The right did it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
all
that
right.
to you.
Completely lost my point. It's all right. Damn it, I can't remember. All right, on to the next
All
thing.
right, so let's go.
Okay, hang on. I just remember. I just remember.
You want to
Okay,
talk about the Giants
No.
leading into today's
Yeah.
game?
All right, politics. Some form of politics. Because you were talking about socialized medicine.
Yes.
Jamie, me and
Yes.
you were very big Bernie bros for
Yes.
many years.
Yes.
Many years. We remember
Absolutely.
we went to
St. Mary's Park in the Bronx.
when Bernie came out
Yep.
there, and we listened to this whole thing, and it was great. It was
We had a
awesome.
great time.
Yeah, we did.
You even
we
had
did.
Gamora there.
We did. Yeah. So for years I thought like Medicare for all, as Bernie's been putting it, was a good idea. Looking at what you were saying before, we pay a lot more in America for health care. So I used to think, okay, well, look at the other countries; they pay a lot less, and their health care is more socialized. However, now with this whole pandemic, and you see people out there saying, if you don't get vaccinated, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you should not qualify, or the hospital shouldn't even take you in. Your health insurance shouldn't cover you. Now I see the danger of giving the government or whoever, any one individual, control over your health care, because as soon as you do something that's not popular with them, they might just pull your health care away from you because you didn't conform to whatever they want. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on...
Social medicine has been a failure in most places. If you take, for instance, in Canada, what we said about with COVID, where they can't get the shot, we can't give it away. They can't get it, and that goes for in Europe, where it's the same thing. Where it's socialized medicine, it's not so bad, but our medicine is really good. There's bugs that have to be taken out of it. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect because every hospital is a private thing on their own. But it's so much better. It truly is.
Yeah, the quality of our care, I'd say, or the quality of like our technology is better. I feel like the problem with our healthcare system is that we have we have the ultra-rich pharmaceutical companies working in tandem with the government and screwing everybody over. Now, the problem with like socialists is they want to give the government even more power. Well, why would you want to give them more power if they're the ones now who are, empowering the pharma companies? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any logical sense.
In socialism, there's always a little bit of truth. It always sounds good.
Right, it sounds great.
They'll have a party that'll be family. I can't think of the party that AOS was from.
AOS.
Whatever
AOC?
name is.
AOC.
And
she's one of our no, it's all right. She's one of our favorite politicians on the show.
Yeah, our Congress gal. But the party that she was with is like home.
Sarcasm. That's called sarcasm, folks.
And something, and it all sounds good. But socialism is such a failure. It's always failed. It sounds good. It gets remade all the time because it has never worked. It's just never ever worked anywhere.
I think it could work on a small scale, very small scale.
Well, you know where it could work? It could work in a country
commune.
where there's 10 million people. And if
not
they
even.
buy
That's too
into like
Small
Sweden,
scale.
these places, if they buy into where, and there's nothing wrong with it, where if you're willing to give up 60, 70% of your check and give it to them, and you'll get free medicine, free college, and they run it, and all of the people, probably 85, I don't know about 90. 90 is a little bit high. I would say 80 to 85% of the people are from that country, which is a key thing. They're from that country. They were brought up in that. Their parents were brought up in that. They buy into it, and I'm not calling them suckers, but it's something that's been there for generations, and it works for them. But it cannot work in a country like this. We have 300 million people.
Yep.
You have a zillion different ethnic
Ideas.
differences. The different ethnic backgrounds. Thank you. It could never work here. It has to be with a small amount.
The thing I say all the time, you take for instance the vaccine. I'm not saying YouTube that it doesn't work, so calm down. The idea so Biden said it, we could go back to normal if we have 98 to 99% of the country vaccinated. There's 320 million plus people in this country who have different ideologies and different ideas of what freedom is. There is no way we are going to get 100% of us to do anything. Even if it was, everybody on Monday, I want you to wear a red shirt. There is going to be a 5% of people that are going to go, no, F you, I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
That's just how America
What,
is.
what I like to
comes
break
from
it down to is with NASA. Back in the day, NASA was competing with Russia to get to the moon. And NASA fell off a little bit, and Elon came and said, hey, listen, I could develop a company where we can try to make regular people go shoot up into space, and he created SpaceX, which is a private company that is also backed by NASA. That should tell you right there and then, like, we get more done with a private company than we do with socialism.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is the.
Well, then you go into
Then he
Mr.
sent
Libertarian's
rocket
aspect over here.
boosters up into space to land where he designated it to land, and we don't talk enough about that. Is that this is a private company that's owned by a man. Talking about SpaceX.
Yeah.
About how with socialism. Right? NASA is technically a
This
socialist
really took a turn. We haven't
idea.
even talked about the Giants
I'm
yet.
excited.
No.
What is there to
We'll
talk?
about-
What is there to talk about? They lose every game. There's nothing to even talk about. Thanks. We're here. That's the only thing. They
Thanks,
brought
Joe
us here at
Biden.
least. Go ahead.
So
Capitalism.
we're
FJB.
talking about socialism, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about NASA. NASA's more of a socialist idea that everybody,
Yeah, that's
this is
true.
a government funding thing where we're going to, back in the day, we're competing with Russia to get to the moon. And we did that through competition. Now it's not so much. NASA was in a hiatus for years
You know
until
why?
Elon Musk came through and said, you know what? Fuck that. This is my idea. We're going to do this. And a private company has accomplished more than NASA
Right.
through capitalism, right?
Okay.
If you think about it, through competition.
Let's zoom out, right?
Yeah.
The only reason why it worked back then was because of competition. Competition is inherently capitalist, right? The only reason why NASA worked back in the day is because they were competing against the Soviet Union. So you could zoom out and say, look, we're competing against another country in terms of trying to get to the moon or trying to colonize space or whatever. And it was, yes, like the funding portion of it is like socialist, but they had someone they were competing against in order to, like finish their goal. Now that those goals are gone for the government, right? The government has no rival really in the space race or some sort of motive to do that. So now the private sector has taken up that competition and tried to
Look
continue.
at the military contractors.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like
No, yeah.
capitalism drives the future, like drives innovation.
Now-
People wanting to do things. When you have no incentive, when socialism completely takes place and you just everything is guaranteed to you. That's not how life works. You need to do stuff in order to survive.
Now-
If you erased society, our system of government, right, and we were living on the compound in the woods, we have to hunt food to live. And if
Like
if we
said
sit
the other
around,
day, you can't just snap food back
Right.
into the shelves.
and if the captain is like the leader of our group and he says, I'm gonna give everybody 10 rocks because 10 rocks symbolizes money. Okay, well, are you gonna be able to eat these rocks? You're not. So unless you do something, you don't get anything. And I feel like that people are completely unplugged from
But would you
reality
say
in
that
regards to
capitalism creates competition,
Yes,
which
it's
you need in
supposed to.
society?
Listen, in
so
capitalism-
people, right? Isn't that what
capitalism-
is we need to create
Jimbo,
more better things, right?
Jimbo,
Like,
in capitalism, the problem is with today's society, this feel-good society, and everybody needs to be equal, and all the little subgroups are equal to us. They just don't realize it yet. In capitalism, not everybody wins.
Right, there's winners.
There's
and losers.
only so many people that could sell shoes. There's only so many people that could sell glasses and beer and this and phones and tech. The problem is technology is a touchy subject in capitalism because what's really different between Samsung and Apple. But forget all that. Only take it down to the sneakers. We could make the Legion of Doom, Two Doom Men sneakers, Last Slice podcast, boat shoes, whatever. We might not sell a single pair.
Boat shoes.
Why? Because Nike's killing it every single day. Like
I have a question for Vinny. Vinny, when you were growing up, did the thought of socialism ever cross your mind?
For us to go socialism?
Was
No,
socialism was like an everyday thing for you?
No, well, it was more communism when we were kids. And that was the enemy. It was capitalism against socialism, and communism was what the Russians did, and it was a terrible thing. Over the years, it has sunk into us, and I don't know how it became a good idea, because it's never been a good idea. It never ever has been, and any country that has gone communist, socialism, it's failed. It's just a failing culture. I said before, it has some good ideas, and it has some truth.
You want to come in and tell us your favorite Giants moment?
It has a seed of truth in it, but it's never worked.
Photo op time. Sorry, guys. All right.
Yeah.
I got marketing for you. Get on.
A country like Italy that has been, the South has been more freedom, believe it or not. It's been more even though it's not capitalism, it hasn't been communism. But Italy was a turning point, and when the wall fell in Germany, and that had a lot to do with the Pope Reagan, and England. What was the woman? I can't think of her name right now.
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher.
Thank you. I've had a couple of you.
Yeah.
And that was the fall of the wall, and it's just such a falsehood.
Yeah,
like I said, it's never ever worked. I don't know how it got so close.
The only way
here.
The only way socialism can work is if it can drain money off of capitalism. So literally the only
right.
Yes,
exactly.
So the only reason why, like, Social Security and whatever, or you could even say in Canada,
which is the
they
30s
have
and 40s policy,
right?
Well, it was
right?
good, but they were good policies at the time. FDR was a great president. He brought in all these things they were really socialist ideas, but they were needed in the country at the time. And he said, beware of these. They could only go so long. They weren't meant to go 70 years, 80 years. They were meant for people at that time could live a lifetime.
The problem is there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program. That applies to everything.
We learned from a professor that FDR was the first president that the federal government put a lien on the state governments. So a state started under FDR. A state started getting 25% of their funding from the federal government.
Right.
So if you didn't really agree with the federal government, we'd take away our 25%, and you wouldn't last as a state.
And if you look even a few years,
and now we're so divisive.
Yes.
It kind of grew from
and
all
then,
that.
And if you look even
no, it didn't. It wasn't meant to be a lifetime.
It wasn't meant to be, bro. Like I said,
it was. He took us out. FDR was a great man. He took us out of a depression, and he used these social policies to get us on our feet. But he said, you could look it up. He made speeches and said, these things are not meant to be permanent.
Okay.
They're meant to be.
So he was naive. I'm sorry.
No, 100%. I agree with it. Yeah.
He was what?
Naive.
No.
Oh, he was naive, yeah.
No.
That's my opinion. I'm sorry.
The way things have turned out, he might have been a little naive.
No. It wasn't meant to be for 70 years.
Right, but then it ended up being 70.
But that was the people
after him.
Beyond him. And where we made the wrong turn, I don't know. Because I don't think we made the wrong turn with Truman, because I love Truman. He's my favorite president. I don't think it was a wrong turn with Kennedy either. Because
Kennedy was a great president.
I thought Kennedy was going to be the greatest president. That's why they killed him.
Yes.
Were you around when Kennedy was living?
He was.
So when he was assassinated, were you there?
Yeah, no, I wasn't there.
Vinny was the trigger man.
Was you there? Were you there when you found the news?
I could tell you that day.
The trigger man.
I went
Your
to St.
parents were there. Like, all
No,
of our
absolutely.
parents were.
I'm asking because
I went to St. Lucy's on Williamsbridge Road over there in that area. When Kennedy got killed, we were dismissed early. My sister's 2 years older than me. We walked up the corner to the bus.
Crazy.
And it was, I didn't really realize what it was. I just knew that it was something that was really bad because I was 7 years old. I think, I was 7 or 8 years old. And
Your generation's 9/11.
we were, I will be the last generation, this I'm pretty proud of for no reason, but I'll be the last generation that was alive when Kennedy got killed because I was under 10 years old. And I remember the weekend, and I remember them canceling the football games and all, and it was such a solace time. And I remember my father liked Kennedy because he was a Catholic. My father was more, he was probably more Republican because he worked for himself, but he liked Kennedy because he was a Catholic. He goes into the class with me with Mickey Mantle, Eli Manning, and JFK. I love Kennedy and what he could have been, and what we don't know what he would have been, but the promise of
the
him.
CIA did.
The promise of him, I think, was unlimited, and they took that away from us.
And as a younger generation, when we're looking and we're sitting here with you, and you're talking about old school Yankee players such as Mickey Mantle, and we're talking about John F. Kennedy, who's such a pivotal president for our times in the country. It's like what do you say? Because he remembers both.
The greats always die,
both
man.
people, and it's just like we weren't there for that, right? So it's
was,
very incredible, man.
You know what's not to make light of it or make it to be a funny story. When the Red Sox lost to the Mets, the Boston fans were walking around in what would be their Central Park, and one guy said, "This is the saddest day since they shot JFK."
Oh no!
It's a great quote.
That's interesting. Sometimes people take sports maybe a little bit
too
too
far.
seriously. Yeah.
We see that a lot. So,
But JFK affected a lot of people.
that is a sexy
That
Lexus. I'm sorry.
That
it's fucking.
It's coming into
beautiful.
the shot right now. There you go.
there you go.
It was a
That
tough
is
juggle.
gorgeous.
It was a very tough juggle because of civil rights.
Yeah.
People were coming into their own, and he had to deal with all this. And I think he was capable of dealing with it probably better than anybody else would have been. Maybe not perfectly.
I think
but,
so.
But probably
He would have been the pioneer of
ushering us into
Yes.
to the new age. No,
Yeah, I
no
think
doubt
so.
about it.
I agree.
Wow.
He stood up to
Yeah.
the Russians.
Incredible.
He failed at the Bay of Pigs, which was an
That's
Eisenhower
insane.
thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's insane.
He took the blame for it, not like this guy now. Take the
Brandon.
blame.
Isn't that
Take
crazy?
the blame.
Taking the blame for something is a
He
skill.
got on
you need
camera
to be
and
able
said
to do that. Yeah.
he failed. And I think whenever you admit your mistakes,
It's good.
it's
a good thing.
It's better off
Yeah.
in the
It's
end.
always good because people will always feel when you cover it, when you lie, when you go here, you go there with it. People ain't buying it. When you
Right.
say,
So what
"I
you're
fucked up,"
saying-
because
yeah.
we all mess up. We all mess up.
So you're
in
saying
life.
he went into front of the cameras. He's like, "Yeah, we fucked up."
Oh, he said it.
And
He said it was a failure.
And you're realizing right now. You're saying that I remember this.
I
That he
remember it
admitted
fairly
to
clearly,
that-
considering my age. And then there was the Bay of Pigs. That was his failure. With the missile crisis, was his great triumph. It was probably that was his greatest triumph in Germany. And he said, "Ich bin ein Berlin." The only German words I know is I'm a German citizen. And he stood before the wall, and it was great.
with
It was-
Gorbachev.
No, before
Right?
that. No,
Before that,
I'm going,
before- okay.
I'm going way before
That was Reagan.
It's
Reagan
when
was before Gorbachev,
yeah.
yeah.
Which Reagan, he had his fail, and I wasn't a great Reagan guy because of the unions. But when I look back at it, he stood up to communism, and he
There's
was
good
very
and bad
strong.
to everybody.
He
Yeah, for the most part.
very strong, and he put the country back where it should be.
Yeah.
All right.
This is just. I love this, man.
Amazing.
Because I
Yeah,
love
me too.
history.
We need to
man.
have
I
you
really do.
on just for
I'm
political
enjoying-
history.
Considering
Yeah, please.
what I was saying, I don't want to mic to use mic. I'm
When you
really
have him
enjoying
on,
this.
have me
Thank
on,
you.
please, so
Yeah.
I can.
We'll
That,
do-
that's
so
phenomenal.
We'll
man.
do another full one,
Yeah.
just politics only.
So should we get into what
John
we have
Gruden?
here.
John
Oh, you
Gruden.
want? Yeah, you still want to talk about him? Let's go.
Yeah, let's
go.
let's have one of
Do
the
we have any of his emails?
Who's emails?
John Gruden. I'm sure you're familiar with this.
The Raiders coach that just quit.
No,
I'm
Oh,
gonna,
yeah, he's got opinions. Let's go.
like a normal.
This is your
hang
show.
on,
Let's go.
yeah,
I enjoy it.
like a normal episode. So I got here from ESPN. John Gruden has resigned as head coach of the Vegas Raiders following reports that emails he wrote over a 10-year period included racist, misogynistic, and anti-gay language. I love the Raiders. I do not want to be a distraction. This is why he resigned. Let's see. According to the Times, Gruden sent emails to Bruce Allen, the then president of the Washington football team, and others during a 7-year period that ended in 2018. Gruden emailed Allen that Goodell should not have pressured then St. Louis Rams coach Jeff Fisher to draft queers, referring to former defensive end Michael Sam, a gay player drafted in 2014. And then he used offensive language in that email. Let's see, what else? Gruden's emails also included harsh language for a handful of team owners involved in the 2011 labor disagreement. Let's see. He talked bad about DeMaurice Smith, who's like the players' union guy. I'm ashamed I insulted DeMaurice Smith. I've never had a racial thought when I used it. This is what he just told ESPN. It's funny because I'm looking at the ESPN article and they're not. I feel like maybe
They're not dating it from 10 years ago?
ESPN is so.
They're pussyfooting around.
ESPN is so scared
Yeah.
to say anything controversial that they won't actually even report on what he said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I don't have any of the racial. I'm sorry, I don't have any of the racial stuff here because
yeah.
ESPN didn't report.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But can I ask him real quick, Vinny? What do you think of the woke culture? Do you know, are you aware of the woke culture?
Yeah,
what the definition
somewhat,
of the woke culture is?
Are you aware of the
You know,
woke culture?
Not so much.
Being canceled?
Congratulations.
Are we
being-
gonna be canceled on everything we say, everything we think? Did we lose
This show might
that?
eventually.
What Gruden did.
No internet. Nice.
You're going back 10 years. If you go back 10 years on anybody, you're gonna find something. We don't know what he really was. I mean, he used a machine gun. He hit everybody. What did he hit? Blacks. He hit gays. He hit everybody. Did he really mean it? I don't know. Could he come back from it? Probably not.
Not anymore. That's the problem because you can't come back from it now.
Should he be taken away from what he accomplished? I don't think so. The things that he accomplished in the past, he accomplished them. It should stand because they're separate. If we're going to have rules that we live by, let's all know what the rules are.
Let's
stay
actually
by
live
the
by
rules.
them, too.
And
Right.
you know what I always used to say at work? I worked for Con Edison for 44 years. Give me the rules. I can live by the rules, but you got to let me know what they are.
Yeah.
And I could follow them. When you change them, now it gets a little hard for me. I could work within where you want
A,
me to
B,
work.
and C.
You know, he said things that he shouldn't have said.
Of course, right.
But should he totally be canceled for it? I don't know.
So you're aware of the cancel culture that people.
If that's
You
what it
understand
is,
how
because
it
what
works.
happened was these things were
Do
leaked,
we-
and they canceled him,
Okay.
and he lost his job.
do we want to have Joe Judge? I like Joe Judge as a coach. He's so buttoned up. It sounds like everything he says, he's at a board meeting. Do we want that? And do we want Belichick is, you lost the game, we lost the game, why'd you lose? They were better than us.
Yeah,
You know, he gives nothing. So you know what? That's what the press deserves to get, which is basically nothing because they won't let a guy talk. Let him talk. If he makes a mistake,
That's a
let
good
him make
point.
a mistake.
I didn't think of it that way. That's
You
a good
know,
point.
if he's a downright hater, then he should be punished for it. If he says things that are a little bit off the cuff, you know what? We're not perfect. We're just not
Are we
perfect
solving
people.
2021 problems?
I mean, you know.
That was, Vin, I got to
we-
tell you, that was put perfectly.
Yeah,
No one's
absolutely.
Yeah, you
perfect.
see, no.
No, yeah,
one's,
absolutely.
No one's perfect. If you say something off the cuff,
we're
yes, you get
absolutely not.
reprimanded. But if
Oh,
you're a hater, suffer.
No, yeah, absolutely. There's got to be a difference between somebody that makes a mistake in what he says and doesn't realize it, and somebody that's a hater.
Hates.
And I think I know people that are both. And I think, you know, do I have to? If I was in a position where I had authority, and I never really was. At job, I was a shop steward. One time I called the boss. We're talking about, I was saying somebody was being prejudiced against, and it was a white guy actually. And he said, "Are you accusing me?" And I said, "Well, if the shoe fits, then wear it." So now, my foreman come running out at me. He said, "Who'd you say to the boss?" I said, "I don't think I said anything that bad. I just said, does the shoe fit? Wear it." He says, "Well, you got to go in front of HR tomorrow." And I said, I was a little shaken up, but I said, "No, all right, because I'm cool with what I said. I didn't say anything that bad." So anyway, I mean, that's just my story, but where are we? I mean, I mean,
we're in the upside down world, man. We're in the upside down world.
Do we need to never say, like I was saying, with Joe Judge and with Belichick, where they never give you anything? Is that what you?
That's
want?
where we're good. That's where we're headed.
No,
we're trying to figure out where we are.
That's
what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So where we sit, yes. If you're a hater, suffer.
Absolutely.
But like somebody like Belichick, who's just going to give you the proper A, B's, and C's. You know, the other team was better. You don't get that feeling. It's no longer connected. Like Belichick represents a portion of Boston. The Giants represent a portion of New York. If you're not going to represent what the town's feeling, if you're just going to give us A, B, and C, listen. You're going to get these little 2-second blurbs of, I think A, I think B. Oh, I agree with A. You think B? No, I hate you. I hate you. We posted it a while back. It's thing on Netflix right now that everybody's trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. He goes, "We've been told 2 big lies. The fact that you think the only way you could be friends or love somebody is if you agree with everything they say 100%, and that if you see a culture that you don't agree with, you need to hate them and fear them. It doesn't work like that. We made it. America's a young country. We've made it 200 plus years by going, oh, that's your culture? Okay, you accept it, where I'm going to move on with mine. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, it's not all, you might not agree, or my culture might not, your values might not fit my culture, but I got my group of people, you got your group of people.
I think there's a narrative of hypocrisy to this entire story. Football is not really that important in the grand scheme of things.
Like basketball.
Just
You're
like
going to lose your spot in
just
basketball.
like we talked about with Kyrie Irving last week. And, did he say bad things? Yeah. Are those things disgusting? Yeah. But so did, Hunter Biden, his whole laptop story and corruption and, that's your tax dollars being influenced and moved around and whatnot. When that story came out, they completely covered up for that. Yeah. No, it didn't have anything to do with racism. Right, but what is racism besides like people that have thoughts that hate other people? It sucks, right? But are those people really influencing like society in any way? No, they're not. But like the president and his son, they are. They have their finger on the button.
That's a problem.
So when it comes to something like that, nothing happens. People ignore it. The media looks to cover it up. Yeah. The guy gets artwork deals, and he can. In downtown Manhattan, he could sell money, paintings for millions of dollars. He gets everything. But John Gruden, who says stupid shit, which is inconsequential to the history of the world, loses his job. Goodbye.
Emails
See
from
you
a
later.
decade ago.
Is he a good guy? No. What he said was awful. But my point here is trying to be that stuff that doesn't matter, they want to crucify you. And stuff that does matter, you could do the wrong thing, and they'll put you up on a pedestal and give you everything in the world.
And who was on the other end of the Gruden messages? Whoever is on the other end did not
guilty
say,
too.
We don't tolerate that, so don't say it again, because it continued. But the commissioners, for some reason, they want Gruden out. I don't know if it's an age thing.
And it's
they
a winning team.
That group of people out of the league.
They need to make somebody an example of.
I have one question, Vin. One question for you. When you were growing up, was there an unwritten rule about talking about politics and religion when you walked into someone's home?
So when you were younger, remember we don't talk about politics and religion?
Right.
Now it's all anybody talks about.
Yeah,
right now,
but I grew up in an area that was all Catholic, and
everybody had his same point of view.
So I'm not probably the greatest example of that,
Yeah.
But what you're saying is absolutely true.
But yeah,
and-
when you grew up, a lot of people had the same point of view as you did in your neighborhood, in your specific
Yeah,
neighborhood.
you know,
on the block.
I would say so. It was more a conservative. I have a very good friend who I hooked up with again, who went to Fordham.
Don't worry if you drop the cap, no big deal.
Yeah, well, I got to play with it.
He's a fidget spinner.
A very smart guy. I don't always agree
Oh,
with what he
you
says.
dumb fuck.
I got my
But
phone.
He did teach me how to think.
Jim,
So
grab some Pintails, please.
I only went to high school, but he was a very big influence on me on how to think. So a backhanded compliment that I used to get at work is, for somebody that's pretty stupid, you have a good way of thinking. So I didn't know how to really. Was it a compliment or is it an insult? I don't know. But I was influenced by somebody who was much smarter than me, who just hours of talk molded my thinking, and it was pretty liberal at the time.
Yeah.
But it is turned.
But you also
But
got to
is
think, though, it was more of, like, the blocks mentality. Because, like, I'm sure, Vin, like, when you grew up, you had family on this. How far were, like, your aunts and uncles? They were close to you. And so the real did you grow up the real
Harlem
Italian?
then. Well, we sort of branched out a little bit, but I connect both bridges, which is another cool thing that means nothing. That we're talking about sports, but there was a thing like where everybody lived in Harlem, and then we started to get out of Harlem. So when everybody was in Harlem, everybody lived by each other.
Yeah.
And then you sort of branched out a little bit, and we went to Throgs Neck, and it's pretty much what you say.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
Interesting times, man. I feel like some of us
We
were born
missed
in a
out.
wrong time.
Is it better? I don't know if it's better. It may
I
not
think you
be
had it
better.
better.
But you
Maybe
said-
it limits us. Maybe you guys more because you've been around more different cultures.
We have more
but
perspective.
like what
Yeah.
you said, it was like you're more liberal. Now I feel like the people who are liberal
Well, are
that
there-
want
Are,
to be
yeah, causing the
progressive is
problem.
not progressive
Well, no.
enough.
Yes.
Because the goalposts keep getting.
Well, now
pushed
they're more
now being
Democrats,
liberal
I
means
would
you're now being liberal means you're a racist crackpot authoritarian. That's what being liberal means.
back then
now.
was,
We're classically liberal, as they say. Seriously.
Truman
Yeah.
was considered a liberal. In his time, he would be a conservative.
Murdered
now.
hundreds of thousands of
This-
Japanese. I'm
at
very
least
liberal
to
with
me.
that,
I mean,
but-
that's not a liberal idea. And I sort of
Yeah, I
love
understand.
Truman. I think he was a great president. Not perfect.
All right.
But I think
That's a
near
debate
great.
me and you, Vinny, will have to have on another full
Truman?
political.
You don't like
I
him?
hate Truman. I hate him.
Yeah,
Oh,
true. There's
man.
something
We'll get
about him.
it's not
That's
something.
something
It's,
else,
that's for
Why?
another. We'll get into it.
We'll
another
get
episode.
into it,
We're gonna. I'm teasing you. We're gonna have you back just to have a Truman debate.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm going to tell you something. He's better come loaded.
I am. Oh, believe me, I'm prepared.
I'm pretty
I'm
much
prepared.
a Truman
I am.
historian.
And I'm gonna be there eating
that's fine.
popcorn.
We're fine with that.
Vinny,
We're
I
fine
do.
with that.
Vinny, I do a podcast. I'm gonna.
No,
I'm
no,
ready. Yeah.
I respect you guys.
Thank you.
I think he's doing a great job, man. And
you.
Thank you.
how about FDR? It's got to be. He's got to like FDR less.
I like FDR more than Truman, but
Really?
like if you're talking about like how much I love evil villains, then yeah,
The
that's how
Joker's
much.
great.
yeah.
Believe me.
Maybe you could
guess
change
don't
my mind,
believe-
but I don't like any of these guys very
Yeah,
much.
well, hey, and I appreciate anybody that has a different view because different views have
Make the world go round.
changed me. No,
Yeah.
it's changed me. Like I said, I had a friend that went to Fordham who sort of molded me into thinking, and I've gotten compliments not on being smart, but on being a pretty good thinker. But wow, that's sort of.
It'll be an interesting
All right.
conversation. We'll have it. We'll definitely have it.
I
yeah.
can't.
And
please
how about
invite me.
Kennedy?
I love Kennedy. Yeah, Kennedy's great.
See, you can't love Kennedy and
Oh yeah,
not
you
love
can.
them. because
Kennedy's dead because he opposed a lot of the things that the other guys are doing. But we'll get into that
Yes.
another
I
time.
love this.
hold on.
Wow.
I wish
So do
we
we
could
want
get
to go
into
around
this.
the trailer right now? Should
Yeah,
we-
I don't know if we even have enough memory space left
Yeah, I
on
don't
the
know.
cameras.
All right, do we want to just
I'll
end
put.
it
Oh
then?
yeah, I'll take a video, put it in there.
All right,
Yeah.
so I am starving. Doom Nation, where we are, here we are. Doom Nation, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Vinny, thank
I
you for
had a
this.
great time. Thank you
Yes.
so
Yeah,
much.
that was
The
great.
historical-
Because I didn't want the mic in front of me, and I could do you use edit, to use this, because I know I'm going to mess up.
Well, I mean, we got the
Right.
juice flowing, so
Wow,
Big Ortiz. No, that
I
was
really
me
had a
too.
lot of fun with this. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
It's good to just talk about what's on your mind, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you remember plenty of this stuff, so
Yeah, I still
Unlike
got a
our
little off
president.
top.
yeah. All right,
Oh my God.
Doom Nation, let's go, Brandon. We are here live at Metlife Stadium. Hopefully the Giants win today.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Skaggs?
Goodbye.
Later.